Great player, good person as well. She's been great, and I'm really excited for her at this next stage in her career.
Caitlinclark becomes the all-time leading scorer in major college basketball.
Another forever moment for this transformational superstar.
Spending the last 12 or so months complaining about being sexualized, after spending the last 12 months complaining about the dirty messages that she receives from lonely men on social media, Angel Reese, she was given the cover of the winter edition of Vogue magazine.
Let's set the stage. The WNBA is looking more like a drama series these days, and Angel Reese is trying to make herself the star. Case in point, the over-the-top frenzy surrounding her Vogue cover. You'd think she reinvented the game with the way they're celebrating it.
Angel Reese, who the media wants you to believe is the face of the WNBA, when at minimum, she is the co-star in this box office drama, would you say was the greater accomplishment? The cover of Vogue magazine or Athlete of the Year? Without a doubt, Athlete of the Year is the far greater honor. So I am incredibly confused with the difference in response to Angel Reese and Caitlinclark.
Meanwhile, Caitlinclark just snagged Time's Athlete of the Year, one of the most prestigious awards in all of sports. And the league barely blinked. It's almost comical. Clark's achievements are towering. But it's like the WNBA has decided to focus on the wrong highlight reel.
You guys tell me, what would be the bigger accomplishment? Landing the cover of Vogue or being named Athlete of the Year by Time magazine? Not Female Athlete of the Year. I'm talking about Athlete of the Year, which means if you won the award, you were competing with legends like Patrick Mahomes, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Donnie Carr.
Let's be honest for a second. Vogue, sure, it's a milestone in pop culture, but it's hardly the pinnacle of achievement. Meanwhile, Time's Athlete of the Year is a global honor that places Clark in the same league as icons like LeBron James and Simone Biles, athletes who have redefined their sports. The difference here is monumental. One recognition celebrates true greatness, while the other offers a fleeting moment in the spotlight. Reese's cover might be trendy, but Clark's awards cements her legacy.
All kidding aside, I am happy for Angel Reese. Judging by some of her comments, Angel Reese dreams of being a fashion icon, which makes sense. I mean, seriously, what child grows up with dreams of becoming a dump diver in the WNBA? What child grows up with dreams of playing pretend basketball in empty high school gym? So I am happy for Angel Reese for achieving her lifelong dream of landing the cover of Vogue magazine and being viewed as a fashion icon. I thought the celebration from the media was a bit strange. Some might even call it hypocritical.
And here's the twist. The WNBA can't seem to get its priorities straight. They're pushing Reese's Vogue moment as if it's the most important thing to happen to the league in years. Meanwhile, Caitlinclark's historic achievements are treated like an afterthought. It's almost embarrassing to watch how they're spinning the narrative, and JuJu Watkins is not having any of it.
Angel Reese was celebrated for landing the cover of some magazine that no one reads anymore, while Caitlinclark, she was vilified.
What we're witnessing isn't just a contrast in achievements, it's a case study in how the WNBA chooses to focus its attention. Caitlinclark is out here elevating the game to unprecedented heights, proving that women's basketball belongs on the global stage. Angel Reese, she's busy collecting compliments for herself. The difference couldn't be clearer when it comes to Caitlinclark's latest jaw-dropping achievements. The WNBA's reaction has been silence. It's almost as if they're terrified of what Clark represents. This isn't just any player we're talking about. Clark is a once in a generation talent, a game changer who's rewriting the rules of women's basketball. Instead of celebrating her like the superstar she is, the league is acting like she doesn't even exist.
This is how Caitlinclark was treated by jealous players who directly benefit from her star power. It's also how she was treated by those in the media who also benefit from the drawing power of Caitlinclark.
So how did the WNBA respond to Clark being named Time's Athlete of the Year? Oh, you're going to love this. Instead of rolling out the red carpet or even offering a simple congratulatory tweet, they chose to ghost her. That's right, crickets. It's like they've entered some alternate reality where Clark's monumental success doesn't even register. But here's where things get really interesting. While the WNBA is busy pretending Clark's not carrying the league on her back, the rest of the sports world has taken notice. Clark isn't just being compared to her peers in women's basketball, Anymore, she's being mentioned alongside the biggest names in all of sports. That's a big deal, folks. And yet the WNBA seems determined to treat her like an afterthought.
Caitlinclark was pressured by the media to share her honor with unknown and undeserving WNBA players who contributed absolutely nothing to the elevation of the league last season.
You'd think the league would be thrilled about having a superstar who's single-handedly packing arenas. We're talking about sold-out games everywhere. She goes. Meanwhile, most WNBA games struggle to fill seats. The contrast is staggering. But instead of leveraging Clark's star power, the league's acting like her success is a problem to be managed, not a triumph to be celebrated.
I've been saying this for a while now. This is one of the main problems with the WNBA. They want to pick and choose which players are celebrated. They want to tell you who you should support. But after reading her recent interview with Fox News, JuJu Watkins, she has earned some of my respect. After reading this interview with Fox News, it became abundantly clear that JuJu Watkins, she gets.
What's really going on here? It's almost like the WNBA is scared of success, especially when it comes in the form of Caitlinclark. She's drawing crowds and breaking records. But instead of riding the wave, the league seems intent on pretending it's not happening. It's a bizarre case of self-sabotage.
Fox asked her about the influx of attention that Caitlinclark brought to women's basketball. Here is what JuJu Watkins said. So many new fans in the sport can sometimes be a headache. Not everyone knows what they're talking about, but it's great for the sport. The fact that people are watching is enough in itself. We would like it to be positive, but it's not always going to be like that. As long as we continue to raise the numbers and viewership goes up, I think that's all we can ask for.
And here's the twist. While the WNBA continues to fumble the bag, other players are stepping up and giving Clark the respect she deserves. Enter JuJu Watkins, the 19-year-old phenom who's wise beyond her years. Watkins openly praised Clark's influence, showing more maturity than the entire WNBA combined. Imagine that, a teenager recognizing greatness, while the league itself refuses to.
In the interview, JuJu Watkins was asked about negative fans, or as Angel Reese would call them, the haters. This would be the point of the interview where Angel Reese would clap back at the haters. What does JuJu Watkins do? She basically tells Fox News that she obviously wants fans to like her, but if they end up being against her, that's okay too, because at least they're watching.
Clark isn't just a star, she's a movement. She's transcending the sport, competing with the biggest names across all of athletics. But instead of celebrating her, the WNBA is acting like her rise is something to fear. It's laughable, really. And as the league continues its awkward dance around Clark's success, Watkins is over here dropping truth bombs that have everyone talking.
Notice the clear difference in her mentality compared to the jealous players in the WNBA. I said earlier, this young lady gets it. She understands the business of entertainment. Sometimes the people that hate you are the best fans. Why? Because they're the most passionate. They're the ones watching every.
So what's the WNBA's endgame here? Are they seriously hoping Clark's influence will just fade away? Spoiler alert, that's not happening. She's bringing unprecedented attention to women's basketball. And their response is radio silence. Meanwhile, players like Watkins are proving that the next generation of athletes gets it. They see the bigger picture.
Before Caitlinclark, there was no such thing as crowds in the WNBA, unless you were talking about the rats in the rafters. For the past 3 decades, if you were one of the dozens of people who watched the WNBA on ESPN, you could hear the janitor sweeping the bleachers. That's how quiet it was in these high school. This is how Caitlinclark was treated by her colleagues and their pretend friends in the mainstream media. Watch it for yourself.
And I'm of the belief that she is now one of the top 15 players available. Even if to roster whoever would not be there would be a couple of people like Enrique who you could put above Caitlinclark. The problem here is, and what concerns me going forward, is those people on the fringe that do exist, that are in real life, not just internet trolls, politicians, pundits, and people of the like who are using Caitlinclark as an avatar to lash out at the people who they have disdain for, mainly the makeup of the WNBA, black women et al.
Who are these girls? Who are these girls that are hating on Caitlinclark? Are you just combing through Twitter? What else are these women supposed to do? We are not every single game gonna revisit and retread this same tired ass rhetoric that all these girls are hating on her, and they need to be thankful.
You have to build a WNBA team. Who are you taking first?
Taking Paige. Next question.
So if you had the number 1 pick this year, you would take Paige over Caitlin?
Absolutely.
Anyway, I showed that final clip of Donna Taurasi because I want you to see the difference in mentality. I believe Donna is my age. She's in her late 30s. Hell, Donna might be 40 years old at this point. JuJu Watkins is 19 years old, enough to be JuJu Watkins' mother. And yet somehow, a teenager is showing more appreciation for the elevation of women's basketball than someone who has spent their entire career playing in front of empty arenas.